Something wild is brewing in Philly, and no, it's not cheesesteaks or another Rocky reboot. It's Kendrick Bourne landing with the Eagles. You heard that right. Kendrick Bourne himself just confirmed that he's heading to the city of brotherly love, and let me tell you, this could be one of the sneakiest, most underrated moves of the offseason. Now, it's not every day a veteran wide receiver like Bourne makes a quiet jump like this, especially to a team already stacked like the Eagles. But make no mistake, this isn't just another name joining the roster. This could shift the entire offensive rhythm. We're talking about a guy with playoff experience, a chip on his shoulder, and the kind of grit Philly fans eat up. The buzz is real. The timeline's lighting up and fans are starting to connect the dots. Kendrick Bourne to the Eagles. It might have slipped under the radar for most, but not for us. The implications here are huge. Is he going to be WR3? Does this change the dynamic for Jalen Hurts, A.J. Brown, Devonta Smith? We gotta talk about this. Let's break it down, because this move might be more than just depth, it could be destiny. When Kendrick Bourne posted that video, clean Eagles green behind him grinned from ear to ear. It was as clear as daylight. This isn't some cryptic social media stunt. This was confirmation, plain and simple. And for a team like the Eagles, which already boasts one of the most complete receiving corps in the league, this kind of addition doesn't come without strategic purpose. Look, we're not talking about a rookie trying to make the cut. We're talking about a 29-year-old with real production, real swagger, and real playoff scars. Remember his time with the Patriots. The man balled out when it mattered. He's not just some depth piece. This is a calculated addition. Philly isn't just stacking talent, they're stacking attitude. They're building an identity, and Bourne's energy, that West Coast meets Grindis vibe, fits perfectly. What makes this even more juicy is how quiet it was. No big ESPN alert. No Schefter bomb. Just a player dropping truth on his own terms. You gotta respect that. And now fans are asking, what does this mean for the rest of the locker room? Is Nick Sirianni tweaking the offense? Are they prepping for injuries? Or getting ready for a more aggressive air assault? There's layers here. Let's keep peeling them back. We gotta rewind and ask ourselves, why Kendrick Bourne, and why now? Timing is everything in the NFL. And this move has a certain Latizummer strategic weight to it. The Eagles are clearly loading up, not just for a playoff push, but for domination. Bourne brings something different to the wide receiver room, something maybe even underrated. He's not flashy like A.J. Brown. He's not surgical like Devonta Smith, but he's clutch. He's reliable. He's tough as nails. And let's not forget, before that knee injury with the Pats, he was trending up, consistently open, making contested grabs, fighting for extra yards. You think Howie Roseman doesn't see that kind of grind and say, yeah, we need that? This is the kind of pickup that flies under radar until midseason, when Bourne's catching a key 307 in a hostile road environment, and Philly fans, they'll eat it up. You already know they love a guy who doesn't just play for stats, he plays for the moment. Bourne fits that mold, and something tells me Sirianni's already got a package drawn up for him. Misdirection screens, jet sweeps, red zone fades. I'm telling you, he's not coming in to warm the bench. Another layer that's heating up this conversation is what this move signals about Philly's mindset this season. Think about it. This is a team that went to the Super Bowl 2 years ago and came up short. Last season they fizzled out late. That stings. You don't make a signing like Kendrick Bourne unless you're laser focused on closing that gap. And Bourne, he's a guy who's always carried that underdog energy, that fire. Exactly the type of locker room vibe that teams need deep into December. This isn't a just-in-case move, this is a chess move, a psychological one. You bring in Bourne and suddenly everyone else is looking over their shoulder. WR for better start balling. Special teams guys better show out. Competition rises. The culture gets sharper. That's how contenders stay hungry. It's subtle, but it matters. And it's not just about plays, it's about presence. Bourne's got that magnetic leadership energy. He's the kind of guy who brings up the tempo at practice, talks trash in a fun way, keeps everyone locked in. You can't coach that. That's why this isn't just a signing, it's a shift. The Eagles aren't playing checkers this offseason, they're playing chess blindfolded with the clock ticking. And let's talk numbers, because for all the football IQ and vibe talk, production still matters. Kendrick Bourne's stats don't jump off the page if you're only box score browsing, but watch the tape. The man creates separation, moves the chains, and shows up when others shy away. In 2021, his best season with the Patriots, he posted 800+ yards and 5 touchdowns on a run-first offense with inconsistent quarterback play. That's not a fluke, that's ability. And if you give him a legit QB like Jalen Hurts and pair him with an offensive line that gives him time to work, you could see a career-high season brewing. Don't be shocked if he ends up in that 600-700 Yard range with 4 to 6 TDs, especially if he becomes a go-to guy in situational football. Third downs, Tuamanu drills, red zone fades. Sirianni knows how to use his pieces and Bourne gives them a new gear. Not to mention he's a willing blocker and underrated trait in this scheme. You want to run that RPO with Hurts, you need receivers who block. Bourne does the dirty work. That's why his signing is bigger than stats. It's about fit, it's about feel, and it's about fire. Before we continue, don't forget to subscribe to our channel and give this video a like. Your support helps us keep delivering the latest updates on our Philadelphia Eagles. And don't be shy, share your thoughts on the news in the comments below. You can't ignore what this might mean for other guys on the depth chart. Let's be real, somebody's reps are getting cut. Whether that's Quez Watkins, Britton Covey, or one of the new camp standouts, it's a ripple effect. Bourne doesn't sign somewhere to sit behind a rookie or get 3 snaps a game. He's coming to contribute, and this might be the wake-up call some of those guys need. Bourne's presence brings experience and pressure. He's been in a Super Bowl locker room with the Niners. He's played in Foxborough under Belichick. That's not just mileage, it's wisdom. And in a WR room that's still relatively young, that wisdom matters. Maybe he mentors. Maybe he competes, but he will change the temperature. Don't be surprised if we see a trade or a cut in the next few weeks. This is how championship teams stay flexible. The NFL isn't just about top-tier talent. It's about rotational depth, plug-and-play veterans, and guys who can survive the 17-game grind. Bourne is one of those guys, and he didn't pick Philly just because he liked the jersey colors. There's a plan, there's a purpose, and we're watching it unfold in real time. The locker room dynamic is where things get even more intriguing. Kendrick Bourne is known as a glue guy, a vibes guy, but he also brings intensity. He's animated, vocal, passionate. That could be electric in the Eagles' already fiery locker room, or it could cause friction. Not bad friction necessarily, but competitive friction, the kind that makes practices harder, sharper. And that's good for a team that, let's be honest, looked a little too comfortable at times. Last season, Bourne isn't afraid to call people out. He's not afraid to dance after a 12-yard catch. That's who he is. And Philly as a city responds to that energy. Fans are already getting hyped seeing him in midnight green. They want fire. They want swagger. Bourne delivers that. But what happens when he's lined up with A.J. Brown and Devonta Smith? That's 3 alphas, 3 playmakers. There's only one football. Will Sirianni spread the love or stick to the usual duo? Because if Bourne's not getting the ball, he's going to let you know. That could push the staff to innovate or stir things up. Either way, it's drama, it's entertainment. And it's Philly football at its absolute finest. And now the million-dollar question, is Kendrick Bourne the missing piece for this offense? Every great team needs that third weapon. That guy defenses overlook until it's too late. Bourne could be that dude. Picture this: 3rd and short to defense. Shades toward A.J. Brown. Safeties keeping an eye on Smith over the top. Who's left? Kendrick Bourne in the slot, Onianone with a nickel corner. That's lunch for him. That's where he lives. Those are the moments he thrives in. And if Jalen Hurts trusts him early, that chemistry could blossom fast. Bourne's known for building quick rapport with quarterbacks. He gets open. He makes himself available. And that kind of reliability is rare. The Eagles struggled with consistency last year in key spots: late game drives, red zone stalls. Bourne could fix that, not single-handedly, but in tandem with what they already have. He's not a star, but he's a spark. A guy who can change the tone of a game with a single grab. That's why this isn't just a rumor or a depth chart update. This is something bigger. Something brewing. And if you listen close enough, you can hear it rumble through the NFC East already. We also need to talk about how this move might light a fire under Jalen Hurts. Think about it, the franchise quarterback now has even more tools at his disposal. No excuses, no crutches. You give a QB this much talent, and the expectation is sky high. Bourne's arrival might seem like a footnote now, but come November, it could be the detail that defines the offense. And for Hurts, that means opportunity, but also pressure, because if Bourne starts making plays, that opens up the whole playbook.